Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Monday. We hope you're blessed. Hope you're doing well. I wanted to do part 2 of a series I'm working on, how to find a good man or how to recognize a good man. Is he Boaz? This is part 2. Friday we did part 1. How to recognize a good brother. The way you recognize a good brother is when his reputation precedes him. If anywhere you go and you ask about him, he's got a good rapport. Any brother who is always worried about you knowing who he knows because he's afraid of what you might find out, red flag, ladies. So stay away from brothers like that. But when you have a man and he don't mind you knowing who he knows, and everywhere you ask about him, he's got a good rapport, you know you found possibly a good brother. So we want to do part 2 today. And we're dealing with Boaz in the Bible, who many people model the good man after. And there's a good reason why, because when you look at the characteristics of Boaz, he's a good man. He shows great characteristics that any woman should look for when you're trying to recognize a good man, a man that's husband material, a man that's worth marrying, or that's worth spending your time on. And we're going to get into the second part of that. And after we dealt with the first part, the second thing you need to recognize, ladies, how to find a good man. The second thing you need to recognize is that when you're dealing with a man who will make preparations for you that make you feel special. Any man who really is into you, really is serious about you, will do little things to make you feel special. He'll do things to make you feel like you're a priority. He will move things out of the way for you. He will go out of his way for you. He will make things special settings for you. He'll drop something, what he's doing, to come and see about you. He'll move his calendar around. He'll do things that make you feel special. Beware of any man who can't never do anything to make you feel special. Beware of any man that any plan or preparation he has to set is always with his intention in mind. Every good man who's serious about a woman will make preparations and make things happen to make her feel special. Boaz, when he comes home in the Bible, Boaz comes home and he finds Ruth, and he asks his boys, he said, "Who is that? Whose damsel is that?" And they say, "Man, that's Ruth. She came with Naomi, and she's been gleaning." She said, "Let me go glean in the field," and that's where she's been this whole time. And he goes to her and he tells her, "You don't have to do that. Come out of the field. Go sit in the house with the other sisters. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do what you see all these guys doing. I don't want you to feel like you have to do other things." So in other words, he's trying to go out of his way to make her feel special. He's trying to do things to let her know that she is special and she doesn't have to do what everybody else is doing. And when you see that in the scripture, you understand that a man who is serious about any woman will do things to make her feel special. Now, Ruth asked Boaz, "Why have I found such favor in your sight?" And Boaz, what he says is, "I know who you are. I know what you've done. I know how good of a woman you are." That's important. And sisters, that's also how you know you're dealing with a good man. When he can recognize that he's got a good thing. When he can recognize that you're a good woman. One of the problems with certain brothers is they don't recognize when they're dealing with a good woman. They can't recognize it because they've only dealt with trash, they've only dealt with thoughts, or they've only dealt with Instagram chicks. They don't know when they're dealing with a good woman. They don't know how to recognize it. The signs that they look for in a good woman are how bad her body is, or how good she is in bed. And don't get me wrong, we're visual brothers and we care about that kind of stuff, but that doesn't mean that you're dealing with a good woman. Any brother who is serious about a woman, is serious about possibly making a woman his wife, he starts preparations for that. He starts trying to show her that immediately. When he's serious about her, he starts trying to show her that. And so men who don't ever try to make a woman feel like she's special, don't ever try to go out of the way for her, don't ever try to move stuff around for her, don't ever try to make plans with her or do things to make her feel like she's important. Any man who doesn't recognize how good of a woman is that he has, he's not really serious about you. Women, don't let a man drag you along because he's got good looks, or because he's got a nice car, or because he's got this, or because he's got that. Because having all those things doesn't mean that you're special to him. It doesn't mean that he recognizes who you are. Boaz was able to recognize who Ruth was, and therefore he treated her very special. Now, here's the thing. He treated her very special, and he offered her an opportunity to leave the field. But here's what she wanted to do. She wanted to stay in the field and glean. She wanted to work. So you know what Boaz did? He said, okay, I'll tell you what. He went to his guys who were working in the field, and he said to them, all right, she wants to work in the field, so that's what we're going to let her do. She wants to glean. Let her glean. Let her do what she wants to do. And then even with now that he tried to offer her preparations and she wanted to do what she wanted to do, he didn't stop treating her special because he couldn't control her. He continued to make preparations for her. He said she wants to do what she wants to do. She wants to glean in the field. Set some work aside for her to do and don't bother her. He still, even when he realized he couldn't control her, he still continued to make special preparations for her. And sisters, that's another way to recognize and know how you're dealing with a good man. His treating you special cannot come under the condition that he must be able to control you. Because men, we know that women have their own mind. They want to do what they want to do. And any brother who only treats you special because he's trying to control you, that'll show. Because as soon as he can't control you, as soon as he says he wants to do this, and you say, no, I want to do that. If he stops treating you special, then it's because he can't control you. And that's not a good brother. Any brother who treats you special knows that he can't control you and still treats you like you're a work of art. That's a good brother. That's what Boaz is. That's what Boaz did. He treated Ruth special in spite of the fact that she was a woman of her own mind and of her own accord. She didn't want to sit and do what the other women did. Sometimes you deal with that. Brothers want their woman to sit back and just look pretty like everybody else's woman. But when you're dealing with a woman who's not like everybody else's woman, you got to accept that. And you got to accept who she is. And you can't stop treating her special just because she's not acting like your homeboy's girl. You have to continue to treat her like the special woman she is. So 3 things we learned today. We learned that when you recognize a good brother, you know you're dealing with a good brother when he treats you special, when he makes special preparations for you, when he does things and goes out of his way to make you feel like you're worth it. Number 2, we also learned that a good brother, you know you're dealing with a good brother when he recognizes your value, when he recognizes that you're a good woman, because every man doesn't recognize when he's dealing with a good woman. And number 3, we also learned that you know you're dealing with a good brother when he doesn't try to control you, and then he's still able to treat you special once he realizes that he can't control you. So these are 3 things we learned about Boaz. These are 3 things that you need to look for when you're looking, ladies, for a good man. Remember those things. If you missed the first video, go back, follow me on YouTube, Al Prince II. Look at the first video. A lot to learn there. This is the second. There are going to be a few more videos because I want you ladies, I want you to be able to recognize a good brother when you see him, because there are a lot of good brothers out there. I know a lot of you think that there are no good brothers, but trust me, we're out there. You just have to be able to recognize the characteristics of a good brother. And so stay tuned for the series on Boaz, because tomorrow we'll do part 3 and you don't want to miss it. Peace. God bless.